It was just after midnight when Daniel turned onto County Road 17, a long, narrow stretch of two-lane asphalt that cut through 30 miles of woods and empty farmland. His shift at the plant had ended late, again, and while most of his co-workers opted for the highway, he preferred the back road. It was quicker, in theory. No traffic lights, no speed traps. Just trees, darkness, and the hum of his aging Chevy's engine. The sky was starless, a dull gray-black with a heavy, overcast ceiling that made everything feel closer than it should. The high beams cut through the dark, but only just. The road ahead seemed to swallow the light, and the trees lining either side leaned inward, their bare winter branches clawing toward one another like skeletal fingers. Daniel drummed his fingers on the steering wheel to keep himself awake. The radio barely worked. Static devoured most stations out here, leaving him with the faint crackle of AM talk shows or the hollow hum of nothing. His phone sat in the cup holder, screen dark. No signal this deep into the county. He wasn't afraid of the drive. He'd done it 100 times. But tonight, something about the road felt different. It was too quiet. Not the normal kind of quiet where you roll your window down and hear crickets or a distant coyote. This was a suffocating stillness, like the entire world had been muted. At mile marker 42, he noticed the first thing. A figure standing at the side of the road. He slowed instinctively. It was a man, or at least, shaped like one, tall, lanky, wearing what looked like a dark coat or cloak. The figure didn't move as his headlights swept over it. No wave for help. No motion at all. Just standing there, facing the road, head slightly tilted as if watching the car approach. Daniel's heart thumped harder. Hitchhiker? Drunk? Someone stranded? He glanced at his gas gauge, half a tank, and back at the figure. It was gone. Not moved. Not walked away. Just gone, as his eyes flicked back to the shoulder. His high beams lit nothing but the frosted grass and a bent road sign warning of a curve ahead. He swallowed hard and muttered under his breath, sleep deprivation. That's all. The Chevy rumbled onward. The trees seemed thicker here, as though each mile pulled him deeper into something that wasn't entirely his world anymore. By mile marker 45, the road narrowed even more. Daniel realized he hadn't seen another set of headlights, in either direction, for at least 20 minutes. He should have felt relief. No traffic meant a quicker drive, but instead a creeping unease crawled up his spine. His dashboard clock flickered. 12:38 a.m. Then it blinked again. 3:17 a.m. He blinked at it, rubbing his eyes. When he looked again, it was 12:39. The needle on his speedometer twitched, bouncing erratically between 50 and 70 even though his foot was steady on the pedal. The Chevy wasn't in great shape, but it had never done this before. And then came the noise. At first, Daniel thought it was the radio picking up interference. A low, warbling hum, like voices just below the threshold of hearing. He turned the volume knob all the way down. The sound didn't stop. It was coming from behind him. Every instinct screamed not to look in the rearview mirror, but he did anyway. The back seat was empty. Of course it was. But for a split second, as his eyes shifted from the road to the mirror, he could have sworn he saw someone sitting there. A shadow, darker than the dark, hunched low. He gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles went white. It's nothing. You're tired. Just get home. Don't stop. He tried to hum a song to drown out the sound. Any song. His mind went blank. The only rhythm he could find was the thump of his own heartbeat in his ears. At mile marker 50, the world changed. One moment, he was driving past endless black trees. The next, the trees were gone. On either side of the road stretched an open field, white with frost, stretching farther than his headlights could reach. No houses. No fences. No landmarks. Daniel didn't remember a field being here. County Road 17 was nothing but forest until it met Highway 11. He knew this route. He knew it. He eased off the gas, scanning the horizon for any sign of light or life. There was none. Just that oppressive, endless dark. Then his headlights caught something ahead. A car. It was parked sideways in the middle of the road, hazards flashing. An old sedan, dark blue, driver's side door hanging open. No movement inside. Daniel slowed to a crawl. The hum from behind him grew louder. More distinct now. Like whispers. He rolled his window down an inch. The whispers stopped. "Hello?" he called, voice hoarse. No answer. The hazard lights clicked in steady rhythm. Each flash seemed too bright, too slow, like the car itself was part of some strange loop. Daniel's foot hovered over the brake. Every rational thought said to stop, to check if someone needed help. But something deeper, an instinct older than logic, screamed to keep moving. He drove around the sedan, steering carefully onto the shoulder to avoid the open door. As he passed, his headlights illuminated the interior. There was someone in the driver's seat. A man, or what looked like one, slumped forward over the steering wheel. His skin was wrong. Too pale, like paper, stretched thin over bones. His head jerked up suddenly, eyes locking on Daniel's. The pupils were gone. Just two black voids staring straight through him. Daniel slammed the accelerator. The Chevy roared forward, fishtailing slightly as it regained traction. In the rearview, the sedan's hazard lights flickered once, and went out. "I'm not alone," Daniel whispered to himself, gripping the wheel tighter. "I'm not alone on this road." He didn't mean it in the comforting way. The road stretched on forever now. No turns, no intersections. His odometer ticked higher, but the mile markers had stopped appearing. The last one he'd seen was 50. By now, he should have been near 60. Maybe even at the highway junction. But there was nothing. Just that frost-covered field, rolling endlessly on both sides. The Chevy's headlights began to dim, even as the engine hummed steadily. The darkness outside seemed thicker, heavier, pressing against the glass like a living thing. Something moved along the roadside up ahead. Low to the ground. Crawling. Daniel squinted, leaning forward. A dog? A coyote? No. It was a person. On hands and knees, moving in a jerky, unnatural motion. Their heads snapped toward his car as he approached. The mouth opened impossibly wide, but no sound came out. Just a gaping black void where the inside of a mouth should be. Daniel swerved, heart hammering, and sped past. In the side mirror, the crawling figure stood up. Its limbs were too long. Its head tilted at an unnatural angle as it watched the car vanish into the night. By now, Daniel was shaking. His breath came in short gasps. "Wake up. Wake up. You're dreaming. Please be dreaming." But the wheel was solid beneath his hands. The cold air from the cracked window bit at his skin. His own ragged breathing echoed in the small cabin of the Chevy. A sign appeared ahead, reflective paint glowing in his beams. "Welcome to Ashbrook, population 0. Daniel's stomach dropped. There was no Ashbrook in this county. There never had been. He knew every town within 50 miles. None of them were named Ashbrook. The road narrowed further, now little more than a single lane. The frost on the fields had thickened, creeping onto the asphalt in thin, branching patterns like veins. The whispers returned, louder than before. Clearer now. Voices overlapping. Some were sobbing. Some were laughing. And one voice, close to his ear though he was alone in the cab, whispered, "Almost home." The road ended. Literally ended. A sheer wall of trees blocked the path, their trunks so tightly packed they looked like a barrier. Daniel slammed the brakes, the Chevy skidding to a stop just feet from the wall. The engine sputtered and died. He tried the key. Nothing. Not even a click. Silence. He sat there, trembling, staring at the trees. His breath fogged the glass. He couldn't tell if the fog was from his lungs or something else. It felt thicker. Heavier. Then, in the rearview mirror, movement. Dozens of figures, emerging from the frost-covered fields, converging on the road. All shapes and sizes, their faces pale and blurred as if out of focus. Some crawled. Some walked. All moving toward the car in perfect silence. Daniel's hand fumbled for the door handle. He couldn't breathe. I can't move. Oh God, I can't move. The figures reached the edge of the road. They stopped, forming a loose semicircle around the Chevy. None came closer. They just watched. Then, one by one, their heads turned, not to him, but to the trees ahead. A gap appeared between the trunks. Just wide enough for a car to pass. The Chevy's engine roared back to life on its own. The whispers filled the cabin, deafening now. The same phrase, over and over, in dozens of overlapping voices. Almost home. Almost home. Almost home. Daniel's hands turned the wheel, though he wasn't sure if he was controlling them anymore. The car rolled forward, into the gap, swallowed by the dark forest beyond. Behind him, the figures faded back into the frost. The road disappeared. The world went silent. No one ever saw Daniel again. His Chevy was found weeks later, engine cold, parked perfectly in the middle of County Road 17 at mile marker 50. The keys were in the ignition. The tank was full. The road beyond mile marker 50 was gone. Locals swore it had never stretched farther than that. But sometimes, late at night, drivers swear they hear a hum on that stretch of road. A low, warbling whisper, just below the threshold of hearing. And sometimes, if the fog is thick enough, they see headlights in their mirror. A battered Chevy, following close behind. No driver inside. Just the faint sound of dozens of voices, whispering in unison. Almost home.